Hey guys, what is good? It's a beautiful day of summer. I'm enjoying the blue skies. I'm talking to a guy. My last memory of this guy was it was spring break in Las Vegas on the Vegas Strip. We were actually all having dinner, myself, producer Mike, and Ryan. And I just remember losing a lot of money off of video poker that night. What is good, Ryan? Welcome to the show.
Not much, man. It's nice to see you. Thanks for having me on. We did have some fun in Vegas. I definitely did not win any money on the tables while I was there, but it was a good time there for March Madness. I guess spring break was also overlapping that, and it was great to meet you while we were out there, and we had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And for those of you who also know, Ryan's good friends with Zach Price. Just had lunch with him the other day. He's heading back to Denver along with Ryan in a few weeks for NFL season. And besides Zach, Zach's been on our pod quite a few times. We wanted to spread the love. He said, you better get my boy Ryan on the other day at lunch. I'm like, of course, man. Ryan's really cool. Spent some time in Vegas. So tell the viewers about yourself. Obviously, now you just started a month ago with Score and Odds. What's going on over there?
Man, so I've been pretty much involved in daily fantasy sports and sports gambling for years on end. I was mostly DFS since I was a kid, probably about 12, currently in my early 40s. So it's been a long run. Once gambling opened up, I really switched over, just started moving into the books and just kept grinding on other stuff and really learning along the way. It's not like anybody can teach you this stuff. You're either just going to figure it out or you're not. So I was able to have some success and put up some Twitter records, and I really felt like I wasn't getting a lot of attention. So I just kept grinding, trying to find somewhere to go, find somewhere that I can put out some content and somewhere that I could put out my bets for other people to enjoy and win some money. Scores and Odds reached out. Well, actually, I reached out through some people and they were interested. So we were able to come to some terms, and now I get to provide some content over there.
Awesome, man. So tell me about it. And obviously myself learning a lot from Zach and others. And we've had Elio and Barnoni down from Barstool, who's had quite the story. Like, talk to the viewers about it's not just going out, betting the board on all these sports. There's a science, there's a strategy behind it. So we're in baseball season right now. Like, what goes into your day of all your parlays on Twitter, all your picks, and like how you congregate to know that it's going to be a good ROI in the long term, not just the day you're betting sports like most average Joes do in America nowadays?
Man, you really got to look for things that are priced incorrectly. And then you also get a little bit of feel for things along the way. After you bet for a couple of years, you've had a few seasons under your belt, you have some data that you can analyze, or maybe you've just learned some lessons. I noticed that we've really been having a good run on the home runs, right? Well, that usually makes sense. It's hot, June and July, early August. It's good ballpark weather. You just kind of hunt the matchups for the bad pitcher, the good hitter, and the good weather. You match all those up and it usually pays off. But now is the time of year where I'm going to start backing off from that. There's going to be less opportunity unless the odds want to shift. I mean, if anybody wants to price something high enough versus its probability of outcome, then we're going to go ahead and jump on it. But the odds will probably stay the same, and then the probabilities will go down as the weather gets worse. So it's not going to be profitable for this particular part of the season, I would think. So it's a feel out thing, and you really get comfortable with what you like to do. I do have a specific grind for each individual sport, and I start looking at a bunch of different stuff. I use a lot of DFS information that I used to use for daily fantasy sports, and that leads me to a lot of like prop bets and things of that nature. But once you start realizing that you really like a pitcher's under, maybe that's because he's going to give up a lot of contact, or he's going to walk a lot of people, and his pitch count's going to rise. And you can start looking around the horn, and maybe we're just going to take a first five against him because he may struggle. Things like that. I was looking at today. We had some good weather in Chicago for maybe an under. The only thing was we had a rookie pitcher against St. Louis, so that made that a little touch and go. But I felt like that kid was going to be able to maybe keep the ball in the ballpark with the weather blowing in. So an under today would have been a decent option.
Awesome. So obviously down to a science, just like how you study anything, you study baseball, pitches, weather, just like any of the major four sports. Who do you have winning the World Series for baseball? We're heading into October here in about a month and a half, baseball playoffs. Who's going to win the World Series this year?
Who do I want to win the World Series?
Who do your bets say that are going to win the World Series? Let me clarify that.
I'm going to stick with Atlanta. I don't like to bet the high favorites. I mean, obviously, LA's a great team. New York's a great team. Houston's a great team. But at the beginning of the season, I rode with Atlanta, and I got them at 13-1. And so we're just going to stick with that. Atlanta's got some good pitchers. They got some good hitters. Hopefully they can do some damage and make things a little dirty.
Atlanta Braves, bold pick, 13-1. Very good value you got them at. So are you involved a lot in the future games too, where you're buying and selling throughout the season? Know that obviously our boy Zach Price is the guru of NBA. The guy just prints money with the futures in NBA. Are you that guy in MLB?
I honestly, I'll credit Zach with most of my futures game right now. I was not big into the futures until I met Zach last year. And then I got the prop swap account, and I was able to start moving tickets and really just buying anything that you think is going to shift, or if it's currently mispriced and you know somebody's going to catch up. You also have to keep in mind that there has to be a market for someone else to buy these. So on that note, I'll admit I'm hung out to dry on some MLB home run futures.
Yep.
unless Aaron Judge gets hurt and someone else hits 20, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to catch him.
It's
not even worth trying to buy out. You're just going to have to take the losses on that one and make it up somewhere else.
That is for sure. That does happen from time to time. Me and Zach were talking about the missed Evan Mobley, who should have been NBA Rookie of the Year. Obviously missed that reward. Zach wasn't pleased about that. Talking about moving football season, we're about 2.5 weeks away from week 1.
It is that time.
Shots. Yeah, I can't believe it's football season already. Kind of sad because the summer's over, but hey, football is king. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? What couple teams should we invest long term that may have some good odds to win the Super Bowl?
So I'm going to avoid the AFC. It's cluttered. It's crowded. I went through a bunch of numbers this morning as I was prepping for the show, and things that I had thoughts about over the last few weeks but hadn't really dug into yet started to come to fruition. And one of those would be the AFC West. The AFC West is all kinds of crowded with good quarterbacks, at least a minimum above average quarterbacks. Now, that makes me not want to touch it at all. And then if you go and you pull up maybe some simple projections that can be located almost anywhere on the internet, you can find out that everybody's got roughly like the same projected percentage to win the division. And none of those numbers come out to what their listed odds are. The only one that's upside down would be the Raiders. Now, obviously, they have the least chance to win that division, and I don't really want to hang my hat on that. But it is 7-1, and it only takes they're also going to have a lot of leverage. They're going to play each team in that division twice. That's going to help out tremendously if they could get some wins or sweep one of those guys, because it's really going to put the other one towards the bottom of the pile. Don't want to mess with that division at all. Let's see. Where do I want to go? I want to go to the NFC South. Is one. Yeah. I want to go against Brady for like the 5th time in a row, and hopefully it finally works.
It just might. He's getting old. I mean, he's
coming back to the well. I think Atlanta's toast. We're not even going to worry about them.
Okay.
I have odds for Tampa Bay should be closer to like 125, 130 based on their percentage to win the division. They're listed at -250. So that left the Saints at like 340 with projected odds of like 200. That's a misprice. I'm not a huge fan of Jameis Winston, but we're going to go ahead and jump on some 3.5-1. And then I'm also going to take a little piece of Carolina at 15-1 because I have them priced more at like a 6-1. And if they can do anything with Baker Mayfield and move forward with a couple of W's, and maybe Tampa Bay struggles, maybe all those old receivers stay hurt, get hurt, Julio and Mike Evans, their hamstring is a rough deal. I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet about Evans' hamstring already this morning.
I did hear about that too.
I think Julio is also dangerous there, and God forbid Father Time Tom takes any sort of injury, there's no quarterbacks there to throw the ball. So I'm going to ride against them. They're heavy favorites. This is one thing I learned from Zach. We don't bet favorites. It's not worth it.
Favorites.
Ever. So let's go on. Let's see. What do I have? AFC East, we're going to avoid Buffalo. I projected more at 125, minus 125. They're listed at minus 215. I think Miami is priced incorrectly at like a 475. I have them more at like 6.5. I think New England should be the second favorite in that division, and they're currently listed at 5-1, and I have them more at like 2.5 to 1.
Okay.
Excuse me. So if I was going to take a position there, it's going to be the Patriots. Moving over to the AFC North, just going to avoid it. The only really mispriced team is Cleveland, and I'm not messing with Cleveland.
We're getting like 10, 12 to 1. I think that's a good pick.
Which one?
Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're like 10 to 1, plus 1,000 to win the AFC North.
They are. Now, I also have them projected to be exactly at that price, so I don't feel like I'm getting an inefficient price line. But what are your thoughts on why you think Pittsburgh is going to be able to run the table there?
The reason why, and I don't take anything away, it's a very competitive division with Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, all very good teams. Anyone can win it, but I like Pittsburgh because of their stability and how they always, most stoutly, like every season, they're either 500 or worse if you look at the last 20 plus seasons. So I just look at the ability of them to always stay in the mix somehow, whether they're having a bad start, good start, whatever. I know that their talent sucks. They don't have a QB right now, but they can somehow just pull away 11. They can, like 10-7 and just somehow squeak the AFC North out. I think it's a long shot, but at plus 1,000, if they go up to plus 1,200, I'd be even more to take a flyer on it.
Let's see. You got them projected for 6.5 wins, 10.3 losses.
So 6-11, 7-11, but
10% chance for the division win. So that price looks right about.
Yeah, if they definitely have paper in years, I will give you that. But they always find a way to stay competitive.
Now, I agree with you there, and I think it's the continuity of coaching. They've only had a few coaches in decades and decades. It's kind of insane.
It is.
And I think that helps. And Tomlin's also a good coach, so even if you have a subpar quarterback, he will figure out a way to run his offense in a different avenue that can still be successful, so they don't have to overutilize the subpar QB.
100%.
Not bad. I'm not totally against that, but I'm definitely just hunting the missed prices, and this is the same strategy I took last year that ended up getting me on the LA Kings at over 200 to 1 early, and then they ended up making the playoffs. We assumed they weren't going to win the cup, but once again, we're moving out of these positions. We're just selling the ticket altogether on a site like PropSwap.
Yep.
So anything I can do that I think is going to make a little bit of money, we just move on it.
Absolutely.
AFC South, I don't really like anything there. Colts or Tennessee, one of them is going to win. I think the fact that Tennessee is at almost 2 to 1 and Indiana is like a minus 125 favorite is wrong. But overall, I feel like they're both too low. So the competition of betting those two teams versus the other two has driven their EV to the floor, and now I don't really want to buy it.
Sure, I agree with that.
Fair enough. NFC West. This is a fun one. Of course, you look at this, and you want to bet the Rams right away, and I don't disagree with it. I feel like that's going to be a team that I'll probably utilize wherever the books have some bonuses or some bet and gets, where we can take a team for futures wins and you're going to get paid back for either wins or anything of that nature. I feel like it's a safe bet, but I don't want to. It's not necessarily a positive EV. It's priced right about where it should be. So I only want to do it where I can get something back, so then I can make it positive EV. And I'm okay with taking that stance. Other than that, I'm going to scoot down. One of my favorite teams for this entire conference, maybe in this division, and that's Arizona. I think Arizona's mispriced. I think they should be above San Francisco. I think they should be about 240, 250. They're currently at 400 to win the division. I'm willing to take a stab with that. And while we're on Arizona, I also am interested in Arizona to make the playoffs at plus 125.
Okay.
And then I'm also interested in Arizona to win the NFC conference at 20-1.
At 20-1.
I have it. I have the percentages priced out more about 10-1. So we're getting twice the price on that one.
You are.
And that looks, I mean, when the same team keeps popping up in every list you make, it makes you think.
It does. It definitely does. That is a solid thinking there. I like it.
So let's see, what else did we talk about? We went through there. So to make the playoffs. Wait, we must have missed somebody because I didn't mention.
Yep.
There we go. We still have NFC North. This is a fun one. I think Minnesota is a solid stab. I don't think Green Bay wins the division again. And am I wrong for saying that? I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers is really playing because he loves the game this year, playing because he wants to win. I'm not. Yeah. I think he's like transitioning in life. He's getting older, and maybe his focus is just not as much on football. And he also doesn't care about the accolades, which really. Right. Is this your retirement check? And are we just going to play through this season and maybe not have the fire? Right. I feel like there's definitely animosity between him and the front office.
There has whatever. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get out of him these last couple of seasons. 100% right.
So I have him priced closer to even money, and they're currently minus 155. And I really, Minnesota is priced pretty close, but I think they have the best chance of upending Green Bay. But the fun bet is going to be Detroit.
Detroit,
everybody loves a little Detroit, right? Come on. So they're at 10-1, and I have them priced maybe more at like 6-1. So we're getting some value there. And if I recall correctly, didn't they end up winning or losing, I don't know, 6 to 8 games last year by 3 points?
They did. Most of the games, half the games, they were right in the mix that they lost.
So they have a decent O-line. The coach can figure out how to run the ball. Goff, not great. I mean, it's very clear. McVay showed up in LA and said, I don't like this quarterback. Get me the other one. And it worked out. So he's not horrible, though. Is he a game manager? I mean, San Francisco was able to ride Jimmy Garoppolo all the way to the moon. So why can't Detroit do it with Goff? They just need a few bounces to go their way. And the numbers are there. That's where we come from. Mm-hmm. And maybe they go 3-0, and Green Bay and Minnesota go 1-2 and 0-3, and now boom, make a move and get out of it.
Make a move and get out from there. Exactly. Very
NFC
possible.
East, I'm out.
NFC East, you're out. I
am. I'm an Eagles fan here, so maybe I'm slightly biased.
Maybe you're biased from the teams you like. That's a smart strategy.
I do. I want to bet the Eagles to win the division. I want to, but I feel like their price is too low for where it should be. I'd want more of a 3-1 instead of like 1.5. Mm-hmm. I mean, and so them and Dallas are starting to catch up to each other. We have Philly at 170 and Dallas at 140. Mm-hmm. It's going to be one of those two teams. I don't think either one of the other two teams really have a chance, and their numbers aren't long enough to go ahead and take a stab on a flyer.
Right.
But maybe we'll just wait and see what happens in the first few weeks of the season, which would be my Super Bowl take is going to be that. I don't want to jump in on the AFC because of all the clutter and all the pricing. The NFC, I don't think is going to win, if you want me to be honest. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably wait, and hopefully one of those good teams comes out of the gate slow, and we can get some better numbers.
Awesome. Okay.
You know how the first couple of weeks of the season go? The defense is usually slightly ahead of the offense. I mean, it's easier to have instinctual reactions than it is to try and correlate and coordinate a pass play. Mm-hmm. And those guys are freakishly talented athletically. So it's definitely possible that we have some good teams go on a little bit of a slide in the early season, and that's a great time to jump on the Browns.
Absolutely. Great time dropping the Browns. And obviously, my hometown, What do you think? Like when Deshaun Watson comes back, what is it, week 12, week 13, after his 11-game suspension, are they going to be in the mix? Or are they going to be out of it? Obviously, it's going to be a good time if they start off like 1-3, 2-3 to take a flyer on them at very good value. What do you think is going to happen there?
I'm curious about Cleveland. Somebody knows something that I don't know, or I know something somebody else doesn't know. So when I come across a number like that, where I feel like it's one of the misprices that's highlighted on the sheet,
It is.
but it's one of the ones that I don't feel good about jumping because I just don't know. The franchise has been a disaster for years on end. They make poor decision after poor decision. Mm-hmm. I just can't put my equity trust in Cleveland. So what do they do? I mean, everybody was talking about they're going to trade for Jimmy G. I absolutely don't think that's going to happen. I feel like Jimmy G wants to play. He doesn't want to come in and play a few games until Deshaun Watson comes back. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yep.
I don't know that anybody else is available. We have probably almost half the league plays a subpar QB as it is.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if Brissett goes down, the Browns are in trouble. Producer Mike's earing me says we have to wrap it up here in like 5 minutes since we only get so much time here on Zoom. But we're definitely going to have you back on again. This is great. So going fast forwarding.
Let me roll down this one little list real fast. As we were closing down the NFL segment, I just had a few teams that I like to make the playoffs, as I thought the prices were nice. That first one was Arizona at plus 125. The next one's going to be the New Orleans Saints at plus 125, which we also kind of like to steal the division. The next one's going to be a little bit of a longer shot, the Detroit Lions to make the playoffs. In case they don't win the division, we're going to take them at 4-1. And the last one is going to be that stab on Carolina in case they end up being the darlings down in the NFC South. They're also at 4-1. I have all of those being almost, well, Arizona and New Orleans are just a little positive EV, but the other ones are mispriced by the tune of 2x. So we're going to take some stabs on those.
Yeah, Producer Mike was texting me also. Is like, what do you think of his Chicago Bears? He doesn't do with those.
Okay. So I hate taking a lot of preseason stuff into account when everybody gets all excited about a quarterback completing a 60-yard pass to a wide receiver with no defense and he was wide open. That stuff I don't care about. What I did care about was seeing those videos of Justin Fields airmail wide open receivers and he's not even close. Oh. It's concerning. I don't know enough about Fields to really throw this under the bus. But yeah, I really, and maybe I'll be wrong, I'm writing off Chicago as it is right now. Not even going to take a jump on them. They're priced at 16-1, and I have them at 20-1 or more.
20-1, we're not
just
even
for a division. Just for a division win.
Just for a division win. That's brutal. Producer Mike, that is brutal. I'm sure he agrees with you too, which I'm sure I'll talk about off here in a second.
5.6 wins is the projection.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna wait on Super Bowl, right? Or do we want to talk about Super Bowl before we head out?
So the Super Bowl, oh man, I don't. I think the AFC wins, and I think all the prices are cluttered. I'll take the Rams on the other side with some, like I said, if you get like bet and gets and stuff like that. But the Rams prices I don't like right now, and I don't think the Rams prices are going to get any better. I don't expect them to go on. They're well coached. They're a good team. They're returning champs. They feel like. I think they're going to come back and feel like they have something to prove. I don't feel like they're going to be high on the hog and not hungry still. So we'll see how that works out.
See how that works out. We'll have a follow-up regarding that. And real quick, before we sign out, going back to golf, Tour Championship, East Lake, who do you got?
Ooh, I actually haven't looked at any golf this week. So that's a bad call for me. I'm not even going to shoot out a number as I haven't even cracked that book yet.
How about Adam Scott? I think he's like plus 2,500 or so. He's off some great golf at the BMW. I think he can just pull it off winning. He likes East Lake. I think he can win it all.
So when you say he likes East Lake, does that mean his course history is very good there?
History is very good. There are lots of top tens, lots of good finishes, and he's playing real damn good golf.
Okay, so those would be the two things that I would eyeball when I open the spreadsheet is if we've got decent course history, because that always means that a guy likes the course, he's learned the tricks, he knows what corners to cut, maybe it's the greens that are fair for him. But then the recent performance, when you can back that up and then you have a misprice like that, I would take that.
Awesome. Ryan, thanks so much for having you on. We will have you on again soon, my man. Enjoy the rest.
Excellent stuff.
Catch up soon. Take
Appreciate
care.
it. Thanks, man.
Stay lean and clean.